It's a pivotal Game 4 in Vegas as the Dallas Stars look to even up the series against the Vegas Golden Knights. What's in store from a Stars perspective in Game 4? And can they slow down the big guns of the Golden Knights? It's a Game 4 preview on Locked On Stars.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. It's a quick hitter here on Monday ahead of game number 4 between the Dallas Stars and Vegas Golden Knights. A chance for the Stars to tie the series up at 2 games apiece and come back home for game number 5. I'll roll for about 10 to 15 minutes today. Just want to lay the groundwork for game number 4 tonight. Puck drop scheduled around 8:50 tonight in Vegas. And I mentioned game 3 could change the entire complexion of this series, and Wyatt Johnston comes through in overtime to clinch the Stars' victory. And now a chance to jump right back in this series. I am hyped up for tonight's game. It just feels like it's going to be an absolute battle. Should be a fun one, of course. The lineup, once again, could be very similar to game number 3. Radek Faksa and Mason Marchment have been listed as game time decisions by Pete DeBoer yesterday. Marchment and Faksa did not join the team for warmups in game 3, which, of course, gave the indication that they were not going to be in the lineup. Usually, if anybody's healthy enough, they will join the team for warmups. So we'll be on the lookout for that here tonight and see if Marchment or Faksa finds their way out onto the sheet. And maybe that's a good indication that they will be in the lineup for game number 4. But the trios, of course, look spectacular in game 3. Now it's trying to replicate that success that they found in game 3 and implement it once again tonight. What adjustments are Vegas going to make? Because the Stars really shut them down for the majority of game number 3, besides the few chances they had. And of course, they found the back of the net, but it was all Dallas in that third game on Saturday night. So I'm interested to see how Vegas adjusts to the Stars style, because they really stretched out Vegas and had them tracking back toward their own net a lot. We did not see that in the first 2 games, but Dallas just stretched the ice incredibly well. They finally were able to get through the neutral zone attack and create looks off the rush, like a ton of odd man rushes. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to bury enough of them. They were only able to capitalize on a few. And then, of course, Logan Thompson was unreal to keep Vegas in the game most of the night. So we'll get a better idea as we get closer to puck drop on what the Stars lineup is going to look like. But you have to leave Johnston up with Hintz and Robertson. That line was phenomenal. I want to say they had 16 scoring chances in game number 3. Pav moving off of that top line finally gave you some benefits. I mean, immediately in game number 3. It would be interested to see if Marchment is back in. Marchment is the perfect type of player that the Stars want against this Vegas team that deploys a ton of big bodies and size on the back end. Marchment is an excellent forechecker, and he's physical. He likes to muck it up. And I think reuniting him with Duchesne and Seguin would be a good thing. Seguin played his best game in a few months in game 3. It's a miracle he didn't find the score sheet in game 3. But reuniting Marchment and Duchesne and Seguin, I think, is a good thing. They've been really consistent. Now with all the attention on 53 and 21, it may give that line an advantage against this Golden Knights team, who, of course, has a lot of depth, but Duchesne and Seguin still really haven't had an impact in the series. And that's what gives me a lot of hope moving forward the rest of the way. Is Dallas has had some no-shows, frankly, from Joe Pavelski and Matt Duchene, and they've played well, but look, they got to execute and they got to start contributing. They need some point production out of their depth, and if Dallas gets that the rest of the way, I think that causes a lot of problems for Vegas. So we'll see if they can replicate some of that success that they found in game number 3 tonight. On the Vegas side, it'll be a pretty similar lineup. Nick Hague, who went down in game number 2, he was out for game 3. He is officially listed as out for game 4 as well, I believe. And of course, he's an excellent defenseman on the back end. He was replaced by Alec Martinez, who's actually played very, very well for Vegas so far in the series. Something that really caught my eye was William Karlsson. He is fighting through something. He's an excellent faceoff man, of course, a center iceman for Vegas, who is 56% clip on the dots this season. And Hurdle actually had to take the majority of draws for that line in game 3, which led to a bit of an advantage for Dallas. So Karlsson may be dealing with something, and I think the Stars have really bucked up physically in the game, and it started in game number 2. They were hot and heavy against the Golden Knights, and I think if they continue to do that, they can continue to wear down this Vegas side, because Vegas isn't completely healthy. Mark Stone is probably at probably 65-75% right now. And maybe that's being a bit generous. He is certainly not skating at 100%. And I think if Dallas comes out with the mindset, especially tonight on the road, they're the best team on the road in the NHL this season, of just trying to hit anything and everything in sight. And you all know I'm not a huge proponent of just being physical for physical sake, but I think if they can be really, really calculated with their pressure and their forechecking ability, they can continue to wear down this Vegas defense, because I think you really started to reap the benefits of that in overtime in game 3. I mentioned this in my post-game reaction. All the chances that they created, even though it was a tie hockey game and it was a bit demoralizing, in overtime, Vegas couldn't do anything. They just got to the red line and chipped in deep. Stars were controlling the tempo. They were controlling the pace. And I think Vegas just got really, really tired physically and probably a bit emotionally in the game, where Johnston finally got a little bit of a lane. And then, of course, he made them pay for it. So very intrigued to see how Vegas just comes out tonight, because it was all Dallas from the hop. You're going to expect a pushback from the Golden Knights on home ice. But if you're Dallas, you feel like you have a lot of things going your way. You've probably played a lot better than the series results show. And you have a chance to do something special and at least come back home in game 5 with a chance to take a series lead, which felt almost impossible 5 days ago. And that's the beauty of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So looking for a huge Vegas push right off the hop, and we'll see how the Stars handle it. And of course, if Radek Faksa or Mason Marchment's able to go. By the way, Yanni Hakanpää hasn't skated with the team. He hasn't been on the trip to Vegas, so no real update there. And of course, they're running 5D. Niels Lundqvist played 2 minutes and I think it was 43 seconds, and maybe that is an overestimate there. He didn't play much at all. And I thought he's looked fine in the series, but Dallas is basically playing 5D. That causes me a lot of concern as the series gets deeper. As of right now, whatever works, you got to play with what you have. And Pete DeBoer trusts his 5 defensemen. But if you get into game 6 and game 7, how is that going to factor in the rest of the way if you get past Vegas? And this is me just looking way too far down the line. We got to focus on game 4 tonight. But those are the questions that I have milling about in my brain. We'll take a quick break here, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss how Dallas can try to slow down the big guns of the Golden Knights, such as Eichel and Marchessault, because if those two factor in, a lot of good things are going to happen for the VGK. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is obsessed with finding you ways to save money on tickets. And by the way, Game Time is the authorized ticket place of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. The Dallas Mavericks, unfortunately, were not able to come up clutch in game number 4, so they're tied in a series with the Los Angeles Clippers at 2 games apiece heading back to LA. And the great thing about Game Time is if you want to see game 6 back in Dallas, go ahead and get your tickets with Game Time. They give you last-minute tickets, flash deals all the way up to first tip, and you can save up to 60% off buying your last-minute tickets, not only for the NBA playoffs, but the NHL playoffs, concerts, comedy, theater, you name it, they have it. And they also give you a chance to see the seat before you buy it, so you know exactly what you're getting when you get to your seats. And also, if you find seats in the same ticket or same row, and section for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take all the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Today's episode is also brought to you by Monopoly Go. All right, game off. We got to pause here to talk about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying, flag on the play. You already talked about that, but there is just so much good stuff in the game. You've heard me all throughout the postseason, Stars fans, about Monopoly Go. It is a phenomenal place for you to play those classic Monopoly types with your friends for time tournaments where you can work together to build up each other's boards. There's more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's just so much more to get. Unique stickers, you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Monopoly Go, new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench, go to download it today on the Apple Store or Google Play Store. Monopoly Go, once again, it's free and available on the Google Play or Apple Store. Game on. So a real key for tonight for the Stars is trying to slow down Jack Eichel and Johnanthan Marchessault, which they haven't been able to do in the first 3 games for the most part. And of course, they were victorious in game 3. But if they can really put a hold on Eichel and Marchessault, look at the guys that have yet to have a huge impact on the series. I mean, Mark Stone, he had the big goal in game 1, but since then hasn't picked up a point. Barbashev with a couple assists. Hurdle, besides his game 1 goal, he just has a point. But it's really been Eichel and Marchessault. That line in general that's carried the load. They have 8 points combined in the first 3 games. And it's easier said than done. Eichel's a world-class center iceman. Marchessault's just been a Stars killer, it feels like. But you have to feel pretty good about what Dallas has done defensively to limit a lot of the depth of Vegas. William Carrier without a point. Howden without a point. Carlson without a point. Mantha, you name it. They haven't got on the score sheet yet. And you could say the same for a lot of Stars like Duchesne and Harley and Hintz are still without a point in the series. But if Dallas can take away number 9 and Marchessault, you're going to have a lot of success moving forward. And at some points, it's really hard to take them away, especially on special teams. And they're world-class players. They're going to get their looks. And they did find some success in game 3 that just forced Vegas to the outside, did not let them get interior for the most part against Jake Ottinger. But if you can slow down the Eichels and the Marchessaults, you're going to take your chances with a lot of other guys. Try to force someone else to beat you. Force someone other than Eichel and Marchessault to score. Force someone else to do the gritty work, because you'll have a huge shot of winning game 4 tonight if you do so, even with a fantastic performance from Logan Thompson. If you can shut down Eichel or Marchessault, just one of them, take one of them out, force someone else to beat you, you have a very, very high chance of coming back home in game 5 with the series tied at 2 games apiece. But I mean, the Stars did a wonderful job at limiting their chances in game 3. And the scoring chances, I noted, were 36-12 after 2 periods. Just scoring chances. The high danger chances were like 21-3. And of course, they scored on 2 out of those 3 chances. But I'm super intrigued about tonight. This is such a heavyweight battle. And credit to Pete DeBoer, he made the right adjustments in game 3. He has to follow it up tonight, because Bruce Cassidy's going to make an adjustment for Vegas. They're going to be much better tonight. Vegas is going to be so much better. But can the Stars adapt? Can they adapt? Which I thought they did really well in that game a few days ago, of just kind of adapting to the circumstances. Even after giving up the lead, they just continued to push and continue to play their game. Vegas in the first 2 games was a lot more comfortable in their system and in their style of play. Dallas tilted that back in their favor in game 3. Can they be comfortable and whatever the style and whatever the type of game we're getting in game 4? And I like the Star chances tonight. I do. I think they play such a good road game. Otter was huge late in game 3 with a few of those stops at the tail end of regulation and in overtime. They didn't get a ton of looks, but when they did, they had some pretty nice scoring opportunities, and Ottinger came up huge. So, yeah, I think this is just going to be an awesome one tonight. I really do. Puck drop set for around 8:50 Central Standard Time. Game 4 between the Dallas Stars and Vegas Golden Knights. A chance for the Stars to tie the series up at 2 apiece. And not many competitive series so far in the first round. We talk about Stanley Cup playoffs in round 1 kind of being the moneymaker, and it's been a lot of kind of series, a lot of 3-1 leads. If the Stars win tonight, it'd be the only series that's tied at 2, which is pretty remarkable. So I think a lot of eyes are going to be on this series moving forward, and rightfully so. Alrighty, that'll do it for a quick Game 4 preview for today. Even went a bit longer than I was planning to, but man, you get me going, and yeah, we can talk forever about Stars versus Knights. Be sure to follow Locked On Stars on Twitter. Be sure to follow Joey the Jet 19 on Twitter as well, throwing out stuff there constantly throughout the playoffs. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. The support has been overwhelming over the past few weeks. All you Stars fans have been phenomenal. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for being engaged. And yeah, baby, here we go. One game can change the entire complexion of a series, and this is a pivotal game 4. I think Vegas is going in thinking it's a must-win heading back to Vegas. That's a lot of pressure. The pressure's back on Vegas. Can the Stars do it? We'll find out tonight. Post-game reaction will be up early in the morning on Tuesday. We'll see you there. Have a great rest of your day. Of course, go Stars, and we'll see you tomorrow. So long, Stars fans.